Lake Erie Speedway, a pavement palace of power where once a year the all-stars of monster trucks take to the tarmac to battle for bragging rights. And in 2024, the regional regulars are faced with old cohorts they once replaced.
The fire has been lit here at Lake Erie Speedway as the crowd packs the grandstands and we get ready to kick off two shows here this weekend. One of two starting right here, 6 trucks ready to go at what has become our favorite show of the summer. Glad to see the Winchenbach family back here in Crustacean and Lumberjack. They'll be starting off our best trick competition here in just a second. The Warp Motorsports team returning to the Speedway for the first time since 2021, this time with 2 trucks, not just the one. Corey Snyder and Preston Perez we'll also see in a moment. And the regional regulars, the Robbins brothers, Plain Crazy and Crazy Train, defending what they consider their home turf. They are out of the Buffalo, New York area. First up, though, the man they call Scoob, Lumberjack. This is Zach Winchenbach out of Jefferson, Maine. Strong sky wheelie to open this best trick competition. Trying to work it into a slap wheelie. Didn't quite work for him. Have to time it just right, especially on this pavement as the silt that these ramps are built out of. This is a nice dirt, it packs well, but when it gets real breezy, as it tends to out here on the lake, it dries out very quickly. When that gets out on this pavement, it really will rob you of traction. Now, you can get plenty of traction on the pavement. Believe it or not, you'll see these guys smoke the tires. You can really burn down some tread out here. And Winchenbach not going to get what he wanted, I think, out of the second move, but strong opening statement. We'll see what it nets him for early evening points. Again, you can see him get just a little bit of sand under the back tires there. It did not quite materialize into a slap wheelie. Score of 4. Just short of midway up the points poll there, as the highest score you can net in a best trick competition is a 10. So we'll see what the next few competitors have. Corey Snyder now out of the old line stand, the Illuminator. Heavyweight TMS chassis here, and what did I say? See him smoking those marchers there on the pavement. Nice job there, walking it again, trying to get the slap wheelie. I don't know if you're going to be able to get one right there. He's the second truck out that we have seen struggle in that particular section of track. Just feeling it out right now. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more out of this team before the day is over, as Snyder in the heavyweight TMS chassis Illuminator. This truck has done well here before. In fact, the last time it was here on bald China tires. Now with those Harper marchers underneath, and those tires made of softer compound, they'll smoke down real quick. He scores a 5 by 1 point. He will jump into the lead. Right behind him, though, talk about slap wheelies, who's a guy who can do it the best. If you take a look at the brake fire there, it's an indication he's burning pads down. That's a chronic issue that they have been having all year long. It'll just be a call to the manufacturer. They'll have a discussion and figure out how to better manufacture those brake pads for this usage out here. Here comes Greg Winchenbach now in Crustacean. Truck that can definitely do a slap wheelie was not able to get one there. Kind of turned him sideways when he got on the throttle. Keep an eye on that. What does Greg have for hit number 2 for this crowd? here in northwestern Pennsylvania. I think he was hoping right there to maybe drive the rear end under the truck, and seen a few guys do that. Didn't work for him there. A nice sky wheelie, though. Going to land in about the same area scoring-wise as the other half of this team and Corey Snyder. So I have a feeling we're going to see a pretty close score to what we've already seen. And yes, it'll be a score of 5 for Greg Witchenbachen. When he went for that first wheelie, he had one tire in the dust and one tire really more on the pavement, and that turned him sideways. I thought he might have a broken axle there, but I don't think that was the case now. As Montana Robbins rolls out of Lawrence, New York. Carrying the colors for Marquette Savings Bank. Walking it out. The Stoppy, the news manual. Headed out toward those race rollers. Let's see. Tried to make it up and over there. You have to remember when they're in that position, they are watching the temperature gauge, they're watching that oil pressure gauge. Those engines, no matter how you sump them, are not meant to run at that angle. You have that thing basically tipped up backward, because remember, the engine is facing the rear of the truck. So when you tip the engine back like that, you're really robbing it of oil pressure, and they can only run healthy like that for so long before you run the risk of damaging the motor. And that move is very hard on the transmission. Kicking up a cyclone of smoke and dust as he donuts his way across the infield. Montana Robbins in Plain Crazy. Turning it up a notch here. Doing an awesome job. I thought he was going to try to walk it up and over that race roller. We've seen these guys do that here in the past, and it's always exciting, but he lays down a good one. A score of 9, 1 point away from a perfect score, and that leaves just enough room for our last two competitors. Preston Perez out of Spokane, Washington, now calls Frederick, Maryland home. This is Toxic. The Warp Motorsports Toxic carrying the colors for Bullsnot. Trying to outperform Montana Robbins. Got the Stoppy. I don't know if the two-wheel move out of it was as impressive as what Robbins did, so might short him a couple points there, but at the very least trying to match what Plain Crazy did. What is next for Toxic? Not at all what he was hoping to do. I can tell you that right now. He had no intention of rolling that thing over backwards. We have seen that truck past vertical here at Lake Erie Speedway so many times, and I think Perez came in here thinking he was going to carry on that tradition. He might have come at that race lane, at the back of that race lane, with just a little bit too much speed, just a little bit too much grunt when he got back in the throttle. Let it preload just a little bit. He was carrying a head of steam when he got there. Here's another look at it. Watch right here. Brake checks it, slides into the back of it, gags the throttle, and rotates it all the way back, and that was a new body. That is probably the longest that body has lasted with him being at the wheel. Unfortunately, though, he finally ripped the bed apart, and that's sort of the test for how new a body is. That's how you can tell how new the Toxic bodies are. If you can still see the yellow waste barrels on the back in the mural, that means that they haven't trashed the bed out yet. But one more time, we're going to look at this one. Toxic with a score of 9. So he ties Montana Robbins points-wise. They're sitting together. That leaves just enough room at the top for our final competitor as Perez gets towed off the track. They're going to take a look at that truck and see if it's hurt at all. You can see it came down on the fuel tank a little bit back there. Hopefully he just bent the straps. Triton Robbins now in Crazy Train. Burning up the rubber out here on the infield. You saw him go for a slap wheelie back there. Again, that silt is so slick on top of this pavement. Let's see, he's got to try to outdo his brother here. He's got to make this one count. I can guarantee we don't have a 10. Can he make it another 9? Look at that! That's what I was talking about. I think that's what Montana Robbins was shooting for right there. Worked on the short side. That's the inside lane coming back on the race lanes, and he carries that momentum right back up and over, walks it out over the rollers and moonwalks it back.
The score for Crazy Train, 8 points. 8 points for Crazy Train. You can get louder than that, by the way.
Boy, you could hear him right there. The crowd not happy with the scoring. It was only an 8. Only an 8 for Crazy Train. You heard Chuck Plumley. Letting the crowd know that it comes down to toxic and plain crazy. Crowd didn't like it. I got to agree with the scoring, though. So your winner in Best Trick competition will be Montana Robbins in Plain Crazy. The big bad 70 Chevy C10 getting the job done. Robbins making his way up to talk to Chuck Plumley.
Here's your trophy for Best Trick. Dude, I was thinking about throwing in you like a special. I was thinking about giving you maybe a piece of the Toxic Monster. You want to take this on too? No. Okay, we'll stick with the trophy. All right, we'll stick with the trophy. How cool is it to be back at Victory Lane? Dude, you said it. You said Toxic was the champion 2 years ago. My brother was champion last year. This weekend it's about me. Check number 1, you're already in Victory Lane.
You know, that's for sure. We're definitely going to be going for it. We got some great drivers back there. You know what? This trophy, I think there's somebody crazier out there that wants it more than me.
Dude, are you kidding me? You want to give this one away right now?
I'm thinking about it. Depends how crazy these fans get.
There you go. You gotta make some noise. You gotta make loud.
This presentation is brought to you by Monsters Monthly, your place for photos, videos, event info, and all the happenings in the monster truck industry. Visit monstersmonthly.com. And by Crush This. For a weekly look inside the wide world of monster trucks, check out Crush This, a Monster Truck podcast. Available on Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube. This program is brought to you by RPM Army. For a wide array of content from across the motorsports world, visit rpmarmy.com. Your high-performance fix on the go.
Back at the Lake Erie Speedway, the crowd getting ready for more action here. Leading the charge right now, tied for first, Plain Crazy and Toxic both with 9 points. Now, the Lumberjack rolling out for round 1. Monster Truck Racing. His opponent will be the Crazy Train, Triton Robbins. They'll run on this Z-shaped course. We've seen it here for the last few years, and it gets altered a little bit each time. It's basically the same course. Sometimes they'll widen the lanes out, sometimes they'll lengthen the lanes. This year, it's going to be very tight. Coming back toward the front stretch for the lane that Triton Robbins is starting in. Right now, it looks like Witchenbach has the lead, but they're about even. Very close at the end. It looks like Robbins may have had the advantage at the last moment, but there is a problem on Lumberjack. You saw the front end come down when he hit just past the finish line. It looks like he may have broken a spindle at the end of the run there, maybe a knuckle or a champagne, but he's definitely done some damage to the front end of that truck. Could be something simple, maybe pulled a spindle bolt off, or could be something more complex. We'll have to wait and see what they say the problem is. But you can see right here, they were about even into that last turn, as far ahead as it looked like he was. You get a big head of steam on that outside lane. That inside lane has to try to find the horsepower from down low, and it looks like Robbins got in there in plenty of time to pick up that win, just barely. But on the end of that run, you can see the right front. If you look underneath, the right front is leaning. So I do believe they have either bent or broken a champagne on the Lumberjack machine as Corey Snyder rolls out in Illuminator for our next pairing here in round number 1. He will go up against hero and good friend of his, Greg Witchenbach, the Crush Station, the Monster Lobster out of Jefferson, Maine. This should be a good one. Koontz almost hits the ground running off the starting line there. And this is going to be a solo pass, something going away on Crush Station. And Snyder backing out of the throttle, waiting to see what the official words are going to be. He's going to go ahead and make a legal run. Got a little out of shape there. At the end, he'll cruise to victory. Not the way he wanted to win that one, but I do believe that Greg just shelled a transmission on that run. You see Stacy Jensen headed out to pick him up, and they'll drag him back over to the pits, and they'll try to get that truck running for Freestyle, because he will definitely not be coming back here in racing action. You saw when he took off, the truck lurched, and then it just stopped moving and zinged the motor, and then it just went quiet over there. So I'm not sure if he lost power, if he just reached up and shut the thing down. There you see Preston Perez in the rather ugly Toxic right now. That thing looking a little worse for wear, obviously, after that flip in best trick competition. But apparently no harm, no foul on that truck. They did bend the straps around the fuel tank. They pounded those back out, checked the fuel tank for leaks. It was good. So he will be coming back for racing and hopefully back for Freestyle. Not jinxing him, provided the truck makes it through a grueling round of competition. We're already down 2 trucks, it looks like, at least for this racing bracket, as both machines out of Jefferson, Maine, suffering mechanical problems here in round 1, as Plain Crazy looks toward the starting line. Preston Perez headed that way now. They had to wait for Preston to get turned around and get out of the way. We'll see which one of these machines can make it to the finish line first. Remember, Perez will have the slow side on the final run, on this final leg up here on the front stretch of the track. He's going to be coming in from that inside turn. It's going to rob him of a lot of speed. He needs to make as much ground as he can in these first 2 legs. Perez struggling out of the first full turn. Now he's got to make up the distance going into the final turn. He might do it, a problem for Montana Robbins. And the win looks to have gone to Robbins, but did he miss a ramp? Plain Crazy will receive the win, so he did not eliminate that roller ramp. You saw him hit it. Kind of funny. He did not get both front wheels over it, but I do believe the roller ramps, as long as you don't drive all the way around them, you can kind of fudge them a little bit as long as you don't eliminate them as an obstacle. You cannot do that on the big racing ramps, although I don't think you'd want to. You'd go for a heck of a ride if you hit those sideways. But you can see right there a struggle for Perez in the first turn, and then look at Robbins pushing to the high side when he came out of that corner. He slid all the way up the bank, had to make up the distance, really got on the power hard right there. So we will have our final four set up here in just a moment. Before we get into more monster truck racing action, we're going to take a look at something else offering here at Lake Erie Speedway. Of course, a very popular feature with the fans, the drift cars, and anytime they have these guys out, the fans go wild for them. We've had many a sideshow here at the All-Star Monster Truck Tour at Lake Erie Speedway. We've seen the Quad Wars. We had some outstanding tough trucks, but the drift cars, always a fan favorite. A lot of speed, a lot of power, very little weight, and a lot of smoke. More to come from Lake Erie Speedway. Stay with us. We will be back.
This presentation is brought to you by Pioneer Pole Buildings. Looking for reliable strength on your next building project? You want a partner as tough as the task ahead. Pioneer Pole Buildings. Built for you, built to last for over 25 years.
You hear the thunder of the All-Star Monster Trucks as they get ready to bring it out for semifinal round racing action. Our pairings set for this semifinal round ladder. It will be Illuminator taking on Crazy Train, and we will get a rematch of our final pairing from the first round. It'll be our final pairing of this round, Plain Crazy and Toxic, your fast loser, who really, not saying Perez couldn't have been the fast loser, but he was the only one left. I have to think that had Scoop not broken that front end, he would be back out here on the track right now because Perez struggled greatly with that first turn. Now, our first pairing of the semifinal round, two heavyweights, Illuminator and Crazy Train. Two low-slung war wagons ready to battle. Snyder trying to make the ground. Look how far out Robbins pushes. Snyder taking that final turn pretty well, a little out of shape, but Illuminator will head to a championship race with either the brother of the gentleman he just beat or his teammate Preston Perez. Look at it one more time. Watch the first turn for Snyder. He seems to have gotten the hang of this course. Let it glide a little bit. Maybe a little late on the brakes for Robbins. It's always easier said than done. I got no room telling these guys how to drive. It's always easy to sit here and watch it from the outside, but you can see Snyder really seemed to get the hang of that early inside lane, and all that drive off the top side up here. He skied that thing en route to the finish line. Has to feel good to take a win over the regional heroes here. And here comes another one of them, the lone hope for this camp now here in racing, the guy who won the best trick competition, Montana Robbins, Plain Crazy out of Lawtons, New York, taking on Spokane, Washington's Preston Perez, driving the black and green Ford out of the old line state. That is Toxic Patrick chassis against Eddie Micah chassis. two disparately weighted vehicles and two very different driving styles. Perez really not attacking the track the way we're used to him doing, but hanging in there with Robin. Couldn't get the power back to the ground in time, really slipping and sliding through there. It is a very, very slick track here tonight, if you couldn't already tell, but it will be Montana Robbins in Plain Crazy going to the final round against Corey Snyder in the Illuminator. So, one shot for the Robins. They've been here for the last few years, and one shot for the Warp Motorsports Camp. As I said earlier, they have not been here since 2021, so this would be a big win for them, especially at what was really one of their favorite shows for a long time, but just booking conflicts did not allow them to make a showing here. It's great to see them back, especially with both of their trucks that we have seen here with Corey driving over the years. And there you see the damage on the front of Preston Perez's Toxic Machine, the Warp Motorsports Toxic Machine, piloted by Perez. And boy, he put a hurting on that one as the sun continues to set behind the grandstands out off the lakefront properties. And we get ready for our championship round race. And it should be a pretty even one. As, again, the Eddie Mica chassis, the TMS chassis, not that far off in weight. How the trucks are set up that we're about to see, very different, although they may look kind of similar. And again, very different driving styles, but both very technical, very adept drivers, guys who are not afraid of that loud pedal and not afraid to really throw it into these tight turns. They will meet on the front stretch. The last-minute sight job before this war begins. Chevrolet and Ford, cosmetically only though. Big block Chevy horsepower in the back of the Plain Crazy Machine. Big block Oldsmobile, Keith Black Oldsmobile horsepower built by Kevin Stauffer in the back of the Illuminator. Of course, the power plant in the back of Plain Crazy, built in-house by the Robins right there in Lawtons, New York. Of course, parts help over many, many years from Mike Janis, who has long provided the horsepower for that team. Knows that they make plenty of horsepower going to the line here. So in terms of getting off the line first, I'd have to say that we have a pretty even match here, as long as they can both catch that light perfectly. Thumbs up from both drivers. Kuntz leaves the line. Good start for both. Snyder, not bad on that outside lane. He's got to make the most of this inside turn, though. Robbins there very quickly. What a final charge down that last straight stretch, but the win will stay with the Robbins family. They have done so well here over the last few years. They seem unbeatable almost on this track, especially since they've switched to this standard Z-style track that they've been running here the last few years. Those brothers really seem to have gotten the hang of it. There you see Stacy Jensen throwing out some obstacles for the freestyle competition that will be coming up in a few minutes. But there you see your champion getting the congratulations from Preston Perez, getting the congratulations from his brother. Hey, Tim Howard down there wearing the colors for us tonight. It's good to see Tim in town tonight. He's down there helping the Robbins family out this weekend. We'll take the rental car down and go pick up the champion from racing here tonight. And he will come up for a meeting with All-Star's own Chuck Plumley here in just one moment. He's taking his sweet time getting in that car. One more look at the race for the championship, and you can see a good push there for Corey Snyder. He got the back end to break loose and start sliding down the bank earlier than a lot of guys have been able to do tonight. That's the trick to that upper lane off the starting line, and right there you see that little bobble, that turn not quite even, and Robbins has been struggling with that tonight, and it almost gave Snyder a comeback, but he wasn't able to take advantage of it. Your winner, Montana Robbins.
But you got Dad back there, you got Mama here, and you got all your friends with you as well. The heart and soul of this team. You took it off the trailer yesterday and you said, guys, this is it. I want to win the championship here this weekend. 2 for 2 on the night with 1 more to go.
You know, that's for sure. I can't do this without any of them behind there. My mom, my dad, my entire family, all my friends. For you fans, Lake Erie, let me hear you! Let's see you guys.
There you go, you got to scream. You got to make some noise.
Hey, welcome to Wild Man Adventures. For the Silver Lake Sand Dragway, there really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. We're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter. Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo. Gotta check it out. This week we're gonna go down memory lane.
Welcome back to the Lake Erie Speedway, and we are still down 2 trucks, both of the bottom feeder motorsports machines sitting up in the pit area right now getting worked on. More damage than they could get fixed in time to get back for Freestyle even was done to both of those machines. Right corner damage on Lumberjack was actually rather severe. It looks like he actually did break a knuckle, and the Lobster with some major drivetrain issues won't be back right now. But in the meantime, we're going to bring our first competitor out for Freestyle, Corey Snyder. He's been looking forward to this all spring long. When they got the booking, he was very excited to come turn this Oldsmobile horsepower loose on this low-slung Illuminator Ford-bodied machine from the Old Line State, Pigtown, Maryland's Corey Snyder. Flashing the lights, ready to cut it loose. Well, he killed that toilet in a hurry. The commode is now a scattered mess of porcelain all up and down turn 1 and right up and over the bus. Man, he wasted no time getting after this one. Corey Snyder in the Illuminator, giving them what they came to see, smoking the tires, keeping the momentum up. This is a strong, strong start. The way this crew builds their race lanes, if you couldn't tell, there's still plenty of hang time in there for Freestyle. No wasted dirt here. Up the other side of the bus with some big hang time and a hard landing for Illuminator. Straight up and down. Digs the wheelie bar into that buried K-rail. And he has got a problem. The oil accumulator hanging down underneath of the Illuminator. He's also popped the right front tire. That last hit over that bus just did a ton of damage to that machine. Hopefully, though, it's all minor, but he is going to cut that run a little shorter than he wanted to. Still turned him on here tonight. That was an awesome showing. Again, a very, very strong opening statement for Snyder in the Illuminator. And you see he came out strong. bouncing straight up over on the right-hand side, but it was this hit right here that caused all the problems. Watch this when he comes down. We'll freeze it for you. Look at the deflection right there, and I believe he bent the rim when he came down. That's what let all the air out of the tire. Gets back into the throttle, and at that point the oil accumulator had come loose from its mounts on the chassis, and when he made this hit over here and set the front end back down, it finally came all the way loose. You saw it dragging underneath of the truck. That's what that was, hanging down underneath it. There you see the blown front tire, and that tire may be done for. I'm not sure, but a score of 25. The judges liked it, the fans liked it, and he is going to make life very hard on everybody behind him as he'll get out and survey the damage. We'll get our next machine out here on the track for freestyle. Snyder was hoping to not have too much work to get the truck and the trailer. They have to leave immediately from here tomorrow night and head to New England for another show. We'll tell you about that in a moment. Right now, though, the Robbins brothers, the first of them, Plain Crazy. Got the afterburner on. Carrying the colors from Marquette Savings Bank here tonight. And he is ready to burn it down on the coolest tarmac in town. So much control. The Robbins brothers always impressive with that two-wheel action, you know. It's something that they have perfected. We've had an opportunity to watch them really perfect their driving skills since about 2018, I believe, was the first time we really started seeing them with any regularity. And they have just been so impressive, so continuously impressive. We got to see Triton kick off the better part of his career in 2018. And, of course, watching Montana grow leaps and bounds. And these guys are a threat anywhere they go. And you can see launching the airplane into the wild blue yonder. Rear brakes already burning down on this thing, and that's all you're seeing there. They run driveline brakes, they tend to heat up, but he has had an issue for several years now with the rear brakes going away or binding on this truck. So I'm wondering if that's the problem we're witnessing right now, or if they've just gotten that hot that quick from him using the brakes. But it really doesn't seem like he's been hard on them. Going after a 25. He'd love to take the sweep here tonight. One racing, one best trick. Can he win freestyle? Montana Robbins in Plain Crazy, wrapping up an awesome run again. Pulling out any little trick you can to try to up that score just a little bit. And you know the fans loved that one. Again, huge air, and he didn't jump that bus straight. You see him kind of came at it at a diagonal, and it gave him a nice loft out there rather than tripping it over. Really didn't hit as hard as Corey Snyder did. Now they run a lot of air pressure in these Goodyears that they run on these trucks. We'll see what he did. 27, a 27. Will take the lead by 2 points. Looking toward that sweep. Can he hold on to it? Up next, Preston Perez in Toxic. He's already trashed the body. Hopefully the truck will stay underneath of him. As I was mentioning before, this team has to go straight from here tomorrow night up to New England overnight for another event and it's a tight schedule for them. So as long as the trucks hold together, the body doesn't really matter. They'll fix that when they get up there. But here's the deal. If they do any damage, it's better for them if they do it here on Friday night than tomorrow on Saturday night, because that'll tighten up their schedule even more if they have to work any harder to get those trucks back in the trailer. So Perez has to keep that in mind. Got to get the best of the best out of it here tonight, and hopefully it'll hold together for him. Getting some awesome hang time. Again, this chassis has been through just about everything you can put one of these Patrick chassis machines through. It's a couple generations old now, and look at him launch it. 540 cubic inches of Chevy horsepower, again built by Kevin Stauffer out of Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. And you can believe that guy builds some very, very strong engines. And you're seeing it go to work here. Hard hit right there. Comes down tail first. I called that truck ugly before, but now that the lights have come down, I take that back. It's beat up, but that is a good-looking truck. The underglow put on there by Jay Snyder. Jay works in the event lighting industry, the owner of this truck, and always keeps these trucks looking awesome. Look at the rear brake rotor. A lot of material coming off of that thing as he has heated this one up a lot, laying down a marathon run. Let's see what Perez has for his last few hits. Getting everything he can off of that obstacle back there, and he's going to come up here to the front stretch. I do believe he's going to wrap it up, the Ford Body Toxic, the 2014 Super Duty. Looking a little worse for wear right now, but he got the job done here this evening. We will see what the score is. Remember, he's shooting for a 27, put down by Montana Robbins. Robbins looking for the clean sweep. Can he do it? This run could rival that one. This was an impressive shot here. Wow. Again, I don't know that the crowd is going to agree with the judges here tonight. Only a 25. That was a 10, a 7, and an 8. Montana Robbins scored 3 9s. One more to go. Triton Robbins in the Crazy Train. This guy has never been short on the thrills here at Lake Erie Speedway. We have seen him destroy this truck for 3 years in a row. Let's see. Right to the two-wheel stuff, his specialty, and you know he knows that he has to do that. Very similar to what we saw his brother do. He did not hit that bus straight on. He came at it with a little bit of an angle, and it throws him over actually a little nicer than it did Corey Snyder, although you saw Preston Perez hammer that thing going straight at it, and that worked for him. Look at this, Robbins cross-threading the bus. He wanted to crush that thing, and it did not budge. The top didn't even dent. That is a hardy school bus. That thing has been here for a little while now, and it looks like it's not planning on going down tonight. Going after it again, and look at the black marks up the right side of this truck. He is really putting a hurt on this engine. You can see it generating just a ton of heat out of the right side. He is on fire right now. Lift the rear brake rotor up. What a run from Triton Robbins in the Crazy Train. He wanted to make darn sure his brother couldn't clean sweep this one. You talk about an awesome showing. Smoke, sparks, fire, and thunder from the big bad locomotive out of Western New York. He came here to show off, and he did that. A lot of air in this run, a ton of momentum, and he did things that no one else did. This was my favorite right here. Crossing up the bus. I thought he was going to just take it on blunt from the front. Look at that, at 28, 1 point. Triton Robbins in Crazy Train picks up the freestyle victory here at the Lake Erie Speedway. And that will wrap up the action here tonight. Your overall winner here at this first event of the weekend will be Montana Robbins in Plain Crazy, and that victory has to mean a lot to him. We're not done, though. We have one more to go. We will see the Jefferson Maine crew back in action. We will see you next time from right here at Lake Erie Speedway.
This Back Channel Productions presentation has been brought to you by Gemini Associates. Whether you live upstairs, downstairs, or anywhere in general, we are here to serve.